Welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view, from the Casablanca studio in Golden, Colorado. Hosted by Art Carlson. At 4'6", liberals fear him, and conservatives love him. He's definitely a giant among men. Now here's your host, Art Carlson.
Yeah, welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view. We've got a great show today. Today we're going to be talking about the late Senator Bob Dole, who passed away just a couple of days ago. I believe it was Thursday, or Friday. We'll talk about uh, his career. He started off in Congress, and then later he was senator from Kansas, and was a vice presidential running mate, and he was the nominee to run against Bill Clinton back in '96. And then later on, we're going to talk about Jussie Smollett and his verdict in his trial and other hot topics going on this week. So let's get this shindig going, and let's start off with my good friend from Muskogee, Oklahoma, the ever present, the all knowing, the mind boggling Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome,
Well,
welcome.
wow, I'm not sure I can live up to that introduction, but we'll try. How you doing, Art?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Lloyd?
I'm here. I'm awake. I'm alive, and I'm breathing. So
That's
I'm
good.
doing
And you're on
okay.
time, too,
And
which is
I'm on
good.
time. I was
Hmm.
actually up long before. I was actually driving up to the store real quick when my alarm went off to wake me up. I was already up and about and doing things today. So yeah, I'm here on time today.
Okay,
But
cool.
I can't complain. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Had a fun show last night. That was fun on your show last night. I
Yes,
enjoyed
yes,
that.
it was. It was a great.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get going. Let's bring in my other esteemed colleague, all the way from Syracuse, New York, who is a good Orangeman. Let's welcome Mike Roach.
Hi
Welcome,
guys,
welcome, Mike.
thanks. Good to be here. It's good to be anywhere, I guess, right? These days, and you know,
Yep.
but
It's
Yep.
true.
just enjoying a beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's for New York State. It's beautiful day, sunny, pleasant outside, and not a bit of snow on the ground. So I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
Plus, all my
Same
Christmas
here.
shopping is about done.
Ah, yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
get started. My my niece, her birthday is Tuesday, and I just got her present yesterday, and my sister came to drop off my laundry, and I told her her card is right there on the footstool. Go pick that up on your way out. So
There you go.
that's it. All right.
Yeah, I've got. I think we're about done with Christmas shopping. I talked to my daughter-in-law after the show after I was on your show last night, and while she was on her way home from work, and I think my two grandsons are getting gift cards. I already know what my son is getting, or my youngest son is. He just bought four fixed wings. And he wanted a charger for the the like we use for FPV type
Oh,
chargers.
okay.
He wanted smart chargers, and so
Okay. For
he'd
his
seen one,
controller,
and
for the batteries on the planes.
yeah, for the batteries on to put in the plane. So
Gotcha.
yeah, and so for 1S up to 6S smart charger, and he saw one that he liked and sent me a picture of it, and I ordered it. It's
Cool.
already here, sitting there waiting to. And he doesn't watch this show, so I know that he has no clue. So
Oh,
he probably has a clue. I just said, "Well, we got you taken care of. Now I got to work on something." And like I said, I think my two grandsons uh, they're going to get gift cards because even their folks don't know what to. One's 14, the other one's God is he? I think he's 21. Yeah, he's 21 now.
oh,
So and he lives out away from home, so they don't know what to get him either. So he's either getting cash or gift cards. So,
right. Mm-hmm.
but makes
Right.
it easy on
And
me.
you, Mike?
Yeah, got a few gift cards to go and stuff, but I did a lot of shopping this summer. I took several day trips up to the lower middle Adirondacks, and actually in some of the shops up there got some kind of mountain merchandise, some carved wood things and stuff right from New York up in the woods there. So not a whole lot of Chinese goods, and so.
Yeah,
And my family will maybe be surprised, although my nephew saw them all in the garage. So I'm like, well, now you know what you're getting for Christmas. But keep your mouth shut. And but anyway, it's looking forward to it. It's only 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this shindig going. Bob Dole recently passed away. I was looking up his bio. He was elected to Congress back in 1960.
Wow.
And he served in Congress, I think, till 1968. And then he ran for Senate, and he was a senator from 69 to 96.
Yeah, he dropped out of the Senate to run for president, right?
Yep, he ran for. Let's see if I look here. He was a war veteran from World War II. World War II, severely injured. Had limited use in his one arm, and he was Gerald Ford's running mate in '76. After Nelson Rockefeller, we were talking about him, I guess, last week. He withdrew from seeking another term as
vice president. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I forgot about that,
yeah, me too.
That was against Jimmy Carter and Walter Mondale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had to learn our lesson the hard way.
Apparently, we didn't learn it well enough.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
We elected somebody even dumber.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy in the White House makes even Bush's Dan Quayle look intelligent.
Yeah.
Which actually Dan Quayle is intelligent, but that's
right. He is. And Dole ran against Bill Clinton in '96, and anybody know who his running mate was? He's from Mike's neck of the woods.
Bob Dole's running mate. Goodness gracious! So it wasn't Sarah Palin.
No, that was
former football player.
Was it Jack Kemp?
Yes.
Yeah, Kemp. That's right. Good.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he was
for the Buffalo Bills, didn't he?
Yeah. For the Buffalo Bills. Yep. And Bob Dole was the reason he defeated Bill Clinton's health care deal, which was good.
Yeah. Bob Dole was a good man, an old school Republican,
Right.
Right of center, but not conservative really. But, with his record in the service right there, he earns your respect, being severely wounded, 2 Purple Hearts in the service. And then I think that his right arm was always paralyzed as well as some other things too.
Well, because he was injured. It was actually a spinal injury.
Right. And
it created paralysis. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know what
it was actually a spinal injury.
How he was injured. I thought it was just his arm, because I knew he had a gimp arm for the rest of his life.
He always carried a pin in his hand so that people would not reach out to shake hands with him. So he would reach out with his left hand to shake hands with his right arm was paralyzed. That's why he always carried a pin in that hand, was to save them the embarrassment. Like, oh, which
Yeah.
It's sort of like somebody's got, one cross eye, or lazy eye. Which eye do I look at? That's
Mhm.
Right.
and that's what happened. So yeah, that's why he carried a pen in that hand.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it seemed like one of those campaigns though, when he ran for president, what year was it? 96, Art?
Yep.
96, yeah.
Against another one of those similar to McCain where he didn't really run to win.
Yeah.
Clinton was pretty popular at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The economy was still pretty strong.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks to the
And
94.
I think it was before the Monica Lewinsky thing. I think that
Right.
happened in 98.
Yeah. So, when the economy's good right there, it's tough to beat
Yeah.
anybody. And
No,
so,
I think Lewinsky was a big deal then.
Was it?
Yeah, they hadn't impeached him yet, but it was already in the news. They
Oh.
didn't vote for impeachment until, like you said, 98.
Oh, okay.
Because Clinton was elected in 92.
Yep.
Again, he beat George H.W. Or George 41 because he was just a one-term president.
Right.
And so yeah, it was sort of like everybody thought this was going to be Clinton's Watergate, because it was like in 72 when Nixon ran. Well, Watergate was an issue, but he didn't step down until 74. So
Right.
so this was the
Yeah,
same
after
sort of
he
thing.
had won.
After he'd won, yeah,
by a landslide.
by a landslide,
Yeah.
and then then the Watergate thing happened, and and so the Lewinsky thing, but with Clinton, it wasn't that, okay, so he didn't really try and cover it up. He just, fibbed a little bit
Yeah.
about whether he, had relations, and depending on
Right.
what the meaning of is, which has got to be one of the most, that and I did not inhale are got to be the two most ignorant statements ever made by a president.
Mhm.
I did not have sexual
relations with that woman.
That woman.
With that woman, yeah.
That woman. Mhm.
You had
Yeah,
to parse every word with
the
that.
finger pointing. Don't forget.
Yeah.
I did not.
And
wag the finger.
that's why it depends on what the meaning of is, because his meaning of what a sexual relationship was might be different than everybody else's. He may not have had full on intercourse, but he had relations, and nowadays he would have gone to jail for it,
Mhm.
Especially in this new woke not me movement and all of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
just think if they would have had that Me Too movement
Yeah, the Me
back
Too
then,
movement,
he
yeah.
would just been hung out to dry.
Yeah. I think the problem was is most men who were middle aged the way as he was, I think, lucky son of a gun.
And I guess as governor of Arkansas too, it was just known he was tearing it up all over the
Oh
place.
yeah,
Back then.
But
So.
look at John Kennedy, and he's respected in history, whether we were necessarily, and he was a different, John Kennedy. Of course, that's where the parties have kind of switched their positions, because you look at John Kennedy and what he did, and he was pretty conservative compared to,
right.
He was anti-communist compared to what we got now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they would call him a right-wing extremist right now.
Yeah, they would.
If he were to give a speech.
Yeah.
Anybody remember Gary Hart? What brought him down?
What was her name?
Donna Rice.
Donna Rice.
Yeah.
And what was the name of that boat that their picture was taken on?
I don't know that one.
Monkey Business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Gary Hart. Yeah. Remember, he dared the media to find something on him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And they did.
They did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. And he was a senator from Colorado.
Yes. I remember. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't dare the media, because nowadays if they can't find something, they'll make something up.
Right.
Yeah. That's true.
And as they say, if you tell a lie long enough, it'll eventually become the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Democrats have been proving that for the last 20 years at least.
Oh, more than that.
More than that, yeah. That last,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
The Joseph Goebbels School of Journalism.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's it. You got it.
Well, that's why it was J school.
It was what?
Mm.
Never mind.
Joseph Goebbels.
Yeah.
J school.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just a little
Yeah,
supple for Lloyd. But
yeah, it is.
he was catching them last night.
Oh yeah, I was catching them last night. Okay. Yeah, yeah, for some reason I was spot on last night, and I had less sleep
Mhm.
last night. Maybe I got too much sleep after. Maybe
Could be.
or I haven't had quite enough coffee yet today. Maybe I need to have because I think by last night I was on about my 5th cup of coffee, so I was pretty well going, and yeah.
So Bob Dole, after the service, he got his law degree, and then he was the county attorney. Let's see. Oh yeah, he was a Russell County attorney. Yeah, and then he won election to the House of Representatives, 1960. Was the year that I was born. So he was a congressman from 60 to 68. So he was in Congress during the radical 60s.
Yeah.
JFK, Martin Luther King, and
Robert
and
Kennedy.
and Robert Kennedy's assassination.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a good man. Had his shortcomings like anyone else. Didn't stand strong enough in some places. Sometimes he did. But compared to, we've got some good Republicans now. At least they talk a good game. We'll see when they get back in power.
Yeah.
It always is a matter of when they get both houses and a president who will sign something, do they actually do what they complain about when they're out of power? That's my biggest gripe right now with the Republicans.
And they've been that
Although
way.
They did pretty good under Trump, though.
Yeah, pretty good. But it was like they should have done more. Like the whole section, what is it? Protects the big tech. They should have done away with that. I mean, if they're going to edit our comments and stuff the way they do, they're in the publishing business.
Well, and I think what happened in those cases is I think the Republicans truly didn't think that would happen. I think they were so naive about it, and now, but then you look at there were so many never Trumpers in the Republican Party that it just hampered. It really hampered what Trump was able to do, and by the time and they ran their mouth about repeal and replace health care. The problem was they could repeal it, but they had nothing to replace it with. And and they had plenty of time. They had 8 years to sit down and get between themselves and, sit down between themselves and come up with a viable plan, and they did not do that. And that's why 2 years later, that's it right there. Who no matter which party's in power, depends on who owes who favors. But I mean, that's why 2 years later they lost. Everybody was mad, and they said, well, they haven't repealed or replaced anything. We might as well get rid of the ones that we don't like, and let some maybe get some moderate Democrats. Well, that didn't work either. They ended up
there's no such thing as
there's not a moderate. Well, we got a couple.
Yeah,
in the Senate.
And they're the ones that are the firewall that's keeping us from.
That's the only thing keeping us from going over the edge right now. And but yeah. And who is it that I just saw in the news? Is he's resigning the Senate is it the Senate or no, that he's resigning in January to take over as the CEO of Trump's Trump Media Corporation.
Oh
Is it
shoot.
Nunes?
Yeah, isn't it Devin Nunez?
Yeah, it's Nunes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's stepping down to take over Trump Media
Oh,
as the
wow.
CEO. Yeah, so
Oh.
now is he a senator or congressman? I can't remember.
I think Congressman.
Congress. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think.
I was going to say, God, I hope he's not a senator. That's going to really screw the pooch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That would.
That would be devastating. But yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So Kevin Nunes, yeah, that's right. He's stepping down to take over as CEO of the Trump Media Group.
Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting. Hopefully, it's something usable and good.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
That's I've got mine pre-ordered and ready to go to as soon as it's available, which I think is in February
Right.
when it's supposed to
Oh,
go.
really?
Yeah, it's supposed to go online. You can go into the pre-order. I mean, it's a free app, so I mean, I don't know if it's a pay to play type thing or what. If it is, I'll just
Right.
delete it because
Yeah.
I don't really use that much social media stuff other than for this show. I pop up
Right.
announcing that we've got shows going on, but that's it. But yeah, but
Hmm.
so anyways, yeah, Kevin Nunes has taken over for that, and I hopefully that'll do it. But and hopefully we'll get that. See, Bob Dole. One of the things about him is he reached across the aisle, but he wasn't afraid to tear somebody a new one on either side of the aisle.
Yeah. It's true.
And like you said, he's sort of the old school Republican. He was sort of the little bit center of right, but
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't like far right. Yeah,
right,
he wasn't a big social issues conservative.
Yeah.
Right. The couple times though they stood up strong. One that sticks out to me is the Clarence Thomas hearings.
Mm-hmm.
When the left they were so against Clarence Thomas. I mean, they were willing to do anything. As Clarence Thomas referred to it as a modern day lynching, and you got to give the Republicans credit for standing up. Orrin Hatch, Dole, and then you had what's his name, Biden, on the left, and he was nothing but a mediocre senator the whole time.
Yeah.
And now he's in the White House. He doesn't. Not only is he mediocre, he doesn't even know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So.
He's a subpar president. Yeah. It's and it is embarrassing for people from Oklahoma to admit that Anita Hill was from Oklahoma, and she's still living here. She's still teaching here.
Really?
Teaching her and I guess she had another book come out or something. She needed to get some, so she started talking about Clarence Thomas again. It's like,
oh,
sorry, lady, that crap is way old. We heard that years ago. She's saying he needs to step down. Well, you need to shut up or get a real job. But
well, Biden went to Syracuse University. That's where he cheated in law school.
Yep.
So, but anyway.
Yeah,
he was a little
you
bit
guys
more Reagan-esque.
touched on something a little bit about Congress. I just found out the Republican candidates running for the newly created 8th district here in Colorado, and they are Lori Sane, who I do know. She's from Weld County, which is north and a little east of Denver, and she was a state house member, served, let's see, I think 4 terms, so that's 8 years. So I've known her quite a while. She is now a county commissioner up in Weld County. And Barbara Kirkmeyer, who used to be a county commissioner in Weld County, who is now a state rep in Weld County. Then there's Ryan Gonzalez, an unknown. I don't know much about him. Young man in his early 30s. Juliana Gray, don't know much about her. And then Jan Kuhlman, the former mayor of Thornton, Colorado. I just heard her on Ross Kaminsky's show Friday morning. and she really impressed me. I think she's got a very good chance of being the nominee for uh, that district. Lori Sane and Barbara Kirkmeyer, I think they're far right, and I think they'll probably beat each other up, and hopefully Jan could come out on top, because you got to remember the 8th district is pretty evenly split, so we can't have any far right or far left people running. I mean, the
Right.
Democrats are going to have a far left candidate no matter what.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're getting some trolls here. I don't know what this
I got
barf dot
trolls.
is.
Yeah.
And for CD7, we have Laurel Eimer. I've known her for a few years. Nice lady, but I think she's just too right wing for CD7. Now, Jeff Schrader, he's the former term limited sheriff of Jefferson County. I think he's got a really good shot to beat Ed Perlmutter, the incumbent now with the new district alignment. I think Jeff, or whoever wins, I think it's going to be Jeff, has a very good shot at defeating the incumbent. So,
what do you think, in all honesty, both of you guys, what do you think are the possibilities of us taking back control of the House and getting control of the Senate next year?
I think it's very good, considering Biden's poll numbers are tanking. Last I saw, 22%.
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
Yeah, I
for a
think
sitting
Biden and
president.
Harris combined only have they only have 34%.
Wow.
So,
A lot of it'll depend on the math, though, too. Like how many seats are up for grabs, and then where they are.
right.
But if you go with, if the numbers are there, and if you go with the polls the way they are, you would think that there would be a tsunami for the Republicans in the fall, and then hopefully, get in January when the new class comes in, and hopefully at least be a wall up against this left wing,
Right.
nut jobs in the White House.
Do you think we'll go further to the right in our House representation, or will we, or I know we probably can't go much further to the left than we have been.
Right.
But I mean, do you think we'll go far right, medium, or just center of right in the new class of congressmen that might be elected?
I think it'll probably be more center right, because you got to remember a lot of those seats are going to be in swing districts. Even the incumbent Democrats with the newly aligned districts are
Right.
probably going to be more competitive. So I don't think it's going to be hard right. I think it's going to be right of center. Now, Chris Murdoch makes the
Yeah, and now is that
choice.
55-45? I take it he's referring to the Senate.
Yeah.
And I can see us shifting. The Senate doesn't shift hard one way or the other like the House does, it seems.
Yeah.
Right.
I think my opinion is we got a good chance of taking control of the House. I don't think we'll have hard control of it. I think, and we're only going to have 2 years. The Senate, the Republicans, if they take control of the House, only going to have 2 years to get their act together, and they damn sure better have it together.
Right.
Because if they do like they have in the past, whenever they get control, they just sit down and say, we've got control. What do we do now? It's like,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
as far as the Senate goes, I'd love to see a 55-45 split.
Yeah.
I
That would be good.
because we haven't had a strong split in the Senate like that. It's been running 49-51, 48-52.
Right.
We need that. We need a good 10-point difference
Mhm.
in that, and
Mhm.
I think that would, because right now as it is, we could lose. Well, as it is there at 55-45, we could lose four votes and still have that 51% that we need. We could,
Right.
and it's not unheard of to have four Republicans jump ship and go the other direction. I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to get rid of the rhinos. I don't think we can, because, and to be honest with you, I think the average American, I mean, the everyday guy like the three of us, we're conservatives, overall, but we're not far right conservatives. We're not, because each one of us has different aspects that we have to look at: social, religious,
Mhm.
I think the three of us would probably say we're probably fiscal conservatives for sure. Social
Right.
conservatives, I'm probably just right of center, myself.
Mhm.
I'm not far right. I'm probably uh there's a lot of, and religiously I'm not far right on that either. I'm probably just, I'm right of center, but I'm not far right of center,
Right.
uh
Mhm.
because I'm not a evangelical, I guess, or a fundamentalist. I'm not that. But my beliefs are my beliefs, and that's that. That's all there is to it. But I don't go out there and think that these people. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, and we tend to be. I think people are more libertarian, and
Mhm.
but there's part of the libertarians that
Yeah.
the libertarians. I don't understand their philosophy most of the time, but I think we're probably moderate right would be
Mhm.
how the average American would vote.
Yeah.
Moderate conservatives. Which that doesn't sound logical, but it's sort of, you go back to I would put example my gaming days. Back when we played when I played Dungeons and Dragons, you had the different factions. You had like it'd be the far right would be the uh, I can't even remember the different levels, but you had chaotic neutral, for example. Those people are chaotic neutral is sort of what we got in some of these nutcases that are out there now. They don't. Well, Antifa is chaotic neutral. They don't care as long as they can create chaos. They don't care whose
Mm.
side as long as it creates chaos. You
Mm.
know, and then you got it's chaotic neutral, and then you've got the uh, basically like the far right, which is my mind. When I start
Well,
talking, I
far
knew I was
right
going to
would be
say, yeah,
more like
like the paladins, which are righteous.
yeah, more
Uh,
like the white supremacists.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And anarchists.
Right.
They're even further to the right because they don't want any government. Where you know we got different flavors of Republicans. The further you
Right.
go to the right, the less government control over your life, and where you go further to the left, the more control the government has over your life.
Yeah.
Oops.
Like AOC and Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
That's
you
Yeah.
had
They're
like,
bona fide socialists, and
right,
communists.
exactly.
So.
mhm.
But well, I can't find what I'm looking for now. But you know, and that's, I think the average American is like that. We're sort of, we're not quite libertarians, but we're uh we're not the far right, because to me, libertarians, their problem is they're just flat anti-government.
Yeah.
That's their premise, is anti-government, which to me sounds a lot like the anarchist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
They're
they tend to be more
to the left of the anarchists.
Right. Pure
Yeah.
libertarianism would be fine if we all lived in a bubble.
Yeah.
But we don't. We have effect on each other as a society, and there has to be laws and guardrails and certain standards and all that kind of thing. But other than that, live and let live is my motto. Just whatever people want to do that doesn't harm anyone or cause societal harm, I'm all for it. Knock yourself out.
Right.
Yep, that's right. Libertarians, they're of the belief of they want 100% instead of maybe 80%. So they'd rather have 100% what they want, or they're taking their ball and go home.
Yeah, and that's it. Whereas, like I said, the average American, because of course, we're not all, and I see that's what probably the next Congress and Senate is going to look like. I see probably a 53% control by Republicans, just enough to have a majority and maybe an extra one or two to boot. And then I see on the House, I see the House being our biggest gain. I see a larger percentage gain in the House than I do in the Senate. I see,
right. I think you're right.
And which, as long as we can get, because if we can get Pelosi out of the Speaker of the House position, that's going to weaken AOC in the mob there, in her crew. That's going to, we've got to get Pelosi out, and and to be honest with you, I think this will be her last go round as Speaker of the House, because age is starting to really catch up with her.
How old is she? About 90 years?
No, she's in her 80s. She's like 84, 85.
Well, Patrick Leahy is retiring. He's like 90 years old.
Right. Yeah, he's pretty, pretty long in the tooth too. So, but
now
yeah,
he's another lefty, that guy.
Yep.
And,
yeah.
But at least he's somewhat clear-headed still, where Biden is lost, half the time.
I found what I was looking for. So the far right, or what's called lawful good. Okay, that's their or the evangelical types. Let's go with that. The Christian, and then you've got the neutral good, which is sort of like us. We can go either way on certain social issues, but as long as it's good for the nation, good for the people, good for the country, that's us. Then you got the chaotic good, and those are the people that actually, the chaotic good may be the far right, but they're good in general, but they like to stir the pot. Those are the rhinos. And then you got the lawful neutral, that as long as it is within the law, and I think in some ways that's where you see the libertarians as the lawful neutrals. They want it to be that a certain way. It has to follow their order of thinking, as it's within that lawful, but they're kind of neutral on everything else, and then you got the chaotic neutral, and that's where you start getting and then you got the chaotic evil, and I think that's where AOC comes in, and neutral evil, where they're just evil and they don't care one way or the other, and that's Antifa right there. And that's the way I look at the way the American structure is based off the alignments that you have in Dungeons and Dragons. It's been around for the 70s at least. It's been real popular back in the 70s, and then kind of again in the 80s, and I got a grandson that's still playing it, so that's how he met his fiance, was playing D&D. Yeah, they're nerds, okay? Yeah, but anyways, but yeah, and I think we're kind of that. We're not lawful good, but we're kind of the neutral good, because as long as it's for the good of the country, we're a little neutral on some of the stuff. And I think that's the average American. I think that's what we're going to see coming out of the House in the next election, and probably the Senate too. I don't think we're going to get a far right control of the Senate.
Right.
I don't think we ever will. You know,
Right. Because society is still slowly, constantly creeping left.
yes,
You know,
it is. It is. Yeah.
So, it's an uphill battle as it is, but there's still, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever, the pendulum has swung so far towards crazy in the White House and with the Congress that hopefully we'll get it back. Now, percentage-wise, there'll be nothing veto-proof or,
Right.
overriding
Overriding
vetoes.
yeah.
But if the White House will want to get anything done, they'll have to work with the Congress and at least
I see
moderate.
another 2 years of stalemate is what I see after this next year's election. I think we're going to have 2 years of stalemate. Of course, that'll always be blamed on the Republicans, but the difference is people are starting to pay attention to what this president is doing, and they're starting to see he's not in control of this country. He's not in control, I mean, we were talking, I was seeing a week ago that there was rumblings of using nukes against Russia if they go into the Ukraine.
That was the other thing that I wanted to talk about.
Good segue then, huh?
Yeah, good segue. That you hit on a point that I was thinking about. Yeah. So Putin's making some rumblings about Ukraine. He doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO.
Right.
So they've massed 100,000 troops on the border, and I mean, the downside, this could be a house of cards where if we go in and bat the Ukrainians, the Chinese will go, hey, this is our chance to take Taiwan. And but the problem there is not only the US, but you got Japan, you got South Korea, Australia. They're not happy about the Chinese.
No.
Yeah.
Or even the UK.
Hey,
they recently sent a carrier over to Japan for the first time in like 40 years or some crazy number of years. And it's like, so thankfully it's not just us, but with this, even if the Republicans get the Congress, and there's still all this incompetence, both with the military stuff. Look at the exit out of Afghanistan, the border, the whole, any international dealing with China or Russia, and all this stuff. There's still going to be that executive incompetence, regardless of what the Congress will do. That in and of itself is frightening. People pouring in the border with these ridiculous rules. You can't fly into the country without a COVID test, yet you can cross the border and be flown off to another state without a COVID test. I mean, it's just crazy stuff,
Well, what you got to do is, if you're overseas, you fly into Mexico City.
Into Mexico and walk across. Take a bus to the border.
El Paso or up that way, and you cross the border. No problem.
Just waltz in.
Yeah, and if they ask for a passport, you just say, no habla inglés.
No.
Even if you're German, you need to learn that phrase. If you're coming in from Germany or Australia or any European country and you want into the United States, just remember no habla inglés. That will get you into the United States without a COVID test. I mean, that sounds bad, but that's just about how bad it is.
Nein, sprechen Sie English.
Yeah. If you speak German, they're going to say, but you're not coming in from Mexico. You're not from the downtrodden. You're one of them evil
no
Germans.
habla English.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's unless you speak Haitian, of course, you can come across if you're Haitian too. We don't mind having you all in here. Well, we do, but the White House doesn't.
Or you could say, "Oh, I've got TB. Oh, come on in."
Yeah. I don't have COVID, but I got TB. Let's, that'll we'll let you in then. Yeah, it's the idiocy. But there again, this is why. I mean, the people, the American people, are starting to see. The only thing I can see happening is if they get control of the House, and they get enough of a majority, and to get control of the Senate, they could actually remove him from office. But I
But the
think
problem is, if
Kamala Harris
they
will come out
do,
first. They'll have to do an Agnew thing, just like the Democrats. They had to get rid of Agnew first, have bumbling Biden appoint somebody that can, and of course they have to pass. They have to be passed by the Senate.
mhm.
The Senate has to approve whoever he nominates. Once they have that approval, that's the person, and he's going to have to pick somebody who's a moderate Democrat that has some brains. So, if they get rid of Harris, then he picks a
Like Cinema
new,
or
a new vice
Manchin.
president. That's sort of, exactly. Maybe the two moderates, the moderate Democrats in the Senate right now, they're stopping everything. Put them in the place of the vice president, and then get rid of and that would be somebody, and to be honest, that's probably the only way the Democrats are going to save their bacon in 24.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah,
I mean, that's a strategy. God, I hope they're not. Art, for once, I hope they're not watching this show, because I don't want them to get that bright idea.
you got 5 people watching.
Yeah, I know. All right, nobody go tell the Democratic National Committee on how they can get rid of and solve this, and maybe win 24.
Right. The thing is, I think the Democrats might want to get Harris out of there and somebody more manageable, because Biden right now is a useful idiot in terms of he's on puppet strings. He's doing what they want. But, I think the Democrats would be just as afraid of having Harris in office as we would, in a sense. She's a loose cannon, for one thing. And as much as Biden loses his words and all that stuff, Harris, with that, they don't even like her. I mean, the Democrats don't like her at all. The likability factor with her on both sides is terrible. And so
the polls right now show, and when I said they didn't even hit 35%, that's because his polls are 21%. That means in order to get 34%, her poll's only 13%. She is the most disliked vice president in the history of poll taking. 13% approval rating for the vice president. That just goes to show you. And believe it or not, there is a majority of Democrats that disapprove of her. I think it's like 52% of the Democrats, 52 to 60% of the Democrats disapprove of Harris. Their own people, And like I said, we're talking, and so and I've been reading all the stuff that everybody else has. They're talking about Harris is. I don't know where these idiots are coming up with this. Harris is going to get fired. You can't fire the vice president. You can impeach him, but unless they find a way to force her to step down. Yeah, Chris, you're right. How could anyone like her? I don't know. I don't see how anybody could like her. She
wasn't even popular in California.
Yeah,
when she ran for president. She was one of the first ones to drop out.
Yeah, because she didn't even get I don't think she even got 1% of the total votes.
No, she did.
She never even made it to 1%, and that's showing how she got to be vice president. Well, I know how. A woman of color.
She checked the boxes off.
Checked the boxes off.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Maybe her and Jill are closer friends than we think.
Oh,
That's how he got some of
she
her.
and Willie
I was
Brown.
going to say, isn't that how she got most of her positions?
Right.
Yeah.
Joe wouldn't know, so it wouldn't make any difference because even if it did happen, he wouldn't remember it. So Jill's the one in charge, so I assume that maybe her and Jill got together. Yeah.
Yeah. But that really is pretty scary right now. And the one thing is that if Russia were to make a move, there would be a price to be paid. I mean, you know, they just can't waltz into the Ukraine. And then also, if China were to try to take Taiwan, you know, Taiwan has some weaponry over there.
Yeah,
and
they do.
you know, it won't, China itself, mainland China, won't come out unscathed. They have weapons capable of reaching
What is
significant targets.
Setting Taiwan aside, what is the tactical advantage of the Ukraine? What does it serve us in national security, and what does it serve us as a country?
That I don't know, other than you know, I think they're rich in minerals and oil and that kind of thing.
And plus, it's a breadbasket of Europe too.
That right, and also more access to seaports might be possible.
Yeah, on the Black Sea. Yep.
That's right. They are on the Black Sea, so yeah, that would.
Yeah, but the Russians took over the Crimea Peninsula.
Crimea, which isn't that where those ports were at? Was in Crimea.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
but
the Ukraine, as it sits now, not counting Crimea because it's already been controlled. And this is the question that I've seen when it comes to the Ukraine, because you know there were rumblings of possibly a nuclear attack against, you know, some idiots out there, and I'm not talking, this is apparently a few senators and a couple congressmen and the president and stuff have all been talking about it. It's like, you know, that's not, is that country worth destroying the world over? Because we fire nukes, they're firing nukes, into conversation. That's the end of it. China's going to jump in there too. So that will be the end of the world as we know it. Is the Ukraine worth that?
Well, problem is then,
no.
Then where is it going to stop? I mean, then it's Ukraine. Right.
Well,
and it could be
but we've got
Baltic
other
countries.
strong, right? But we're talking a nutcase in the White House that has no control compared to a tyrant that is mentally sharp, mentally or physically in great shape, and he's got his, you know, I don't think Putin would send over nukes to take the Ukraine.
Yeah.
You know, he wouldn't do it, but it scares me that this president might launch the nukes to keep the Ukraine.
Right.
That's where insanity comes in. That's where I see the insanity of what we're dealing with right now. And this is what's, this is, and they've even mentioned this with Taiwan too. And this is, I'm sorry, the Ukraine isn't that, the Ukraine is not helping my gas prices today. Because a year ago or a year and a half ago, we were energy independent, you know?
Yep.
So we don't need them. We had you know, there was a lot of things that we have in this country that could be, if we get rid of these idiots up there now, you know, but what is the Ukraine going to do for the American people? And this is where we've lost our focus. We're so busy looking at, you know, this. I'm kind of like Teddy Roosevelt, you know, what is it? Speak softly, carry a big stick. You know, isolationism to an extent. We need to start protecting our own stuff and quit, you know, because I mean, yeah, if we could go in there and do a military thing, just a standard military, but that's fine. You know, if that's, you know, to protect our interests there, but that's one thing. But as screwed up as Afghanistan was, I hate to think what the hell they're going to do over there, you know.
Right.
But and you know, that's it right there, Chris. He says, "Man, I miss Trump." Trump, you know, stood up and said, you don't want to do this. And he wouldn't have, they were all scared he was going to push that big red button. I'm more scared of the idiot there now pushing it than I am, than I ever was Trump. And I see that as, those are issues we need to look at. Do we really, at some point we have to stop and say, and I'm pro-military. I mean, I'm for a strong military, and right now we don't have a strong military because Obama. Well, go back to Monica's boyfriend, Clinton, Bill. Yeah, I can think of her name and not his. Go back to Bill. He started weakening the military back then. Actually, Jimmy Carter started it back in the 70s, and it just we'd get it built back up. We'd get another Democrat back in. They'd tear it all back down, and we've just had a really the last Democrat president we had before. President Idiot was he destroyed our military. He got rid of any general or any officer that would stand up against his, ridiculous far left authoritarian points.
Right.
And so we have a weak military. Okay, we could.
Right. We've got a weak everything right now.
Yeah.
Our economy is weak. We're in debt that is incalculable, and the military is weak and also woke.
Well, that's it. It's woke. Yeah. And that's been what started they started putting that kind of stuff in place back in the 70s. They started this. We didn't just suddenly wake up one day and the whole world was woke. This has been going on since the 70s. When a peanut farmer from Georgia can end up being the president of the United States. And the most important thing that anybody remembers from Jimmy Carter being in office is Billy Beer. That was the only good product that ever came out of his administration was Billy Beer. And it tasted like crap. I know, I drank some.
Yep.
It was nasty. It even made Coors taste good.
Yeah. But that and our economy and where our energy independence is gone. We can't do, our kind of two theater doctrine in terms of our military. We couldn't do that right now. We could not fight two significant wars.
We couldn't.
Luckily,
we don't have the leadership.
One.
Yeah, like Robert Glazer said, he was in during the Clinton years. Well, I was in during the Carter years, and both of them hurt our military. They first cut it down, and then they replaced any leader that was of any value, military leader that was any value. They replaced him with these sliding to the left until they got Obama in place, and he just woke the whole damn group up and got rid of anybody that he felt wasn't on the socialist agenda that he was, And it was I was just frustrated. It just frustrated the hell out of me that the way they did the military.
Well, let's close out the show with Jussie Smollett. Or as Dave Chappelle would call him, Smollett. Jussie Smollett.
Call him Juicy.
Juicy Smollett.
Yeah.
So he was found guilty of a false report on a hate crime, an attack, and just so.
Well, the reason they found him guilty of disorderly conduct because they had to follow the rules of law. And now this is felony disorderly conduct, 5 counts. And those were the 5 counts that happened on the night that he reported it. The 6th count that he was found not guilty on happened a couple of weeks later when they came back. I think the way it probably went about it, are you sure? And he went ahead and lied to him again that they like, well, okay, they let him go on that one. They found him not guilty because that was an after the fact charge. And but the reason they found him guilty on these other 5 counts of disorderly conduct, or I can't remember exactly, felony disorderly conduct, was because they don't have felony stupidity.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he goes out at 2 a.m. in the morning in Chicago in freezing weather
to go to Subway.
To go to Subway. And when you're, I don't know, you're writing a report or reporting an attack, why you still have a noose around your neck?
Yeah.
I think that'd be like one of the first things I take off.
The scary part of that is, I don't think much is going to happen to him.
No, we'll probably pay a fine, and that's about it.
Right, and maybe a little service.
Yeah, community service.
But the thing is, the ramifications
have 5 felony
of what,
counts on his record.
If the Chicago police did not find him out quickly, that could have caused just a whole nother round of rioting and stuff. Would have been another George Floyd type incident, white supremacist attack, a black guy and all this stuff. And, it could have caused death with what he did. And all to improve his career, apparently. And, so by rights, I'd like to see him do some hard time because he could have set this country on fire. It was already on fire enough. But,
exactly.
It's, but not much will happen to him. And,
he'll probably get community service. The only good thing is that he will have 5 felony counts, and the next time he does something stupid, that will show up. The other good thing is it probably has destroyed his acting career because it was terrible in the first place, So we got rid of a bad actor, and you can take that literally and figuratively, but he got rid of a bad actor. And the only thing is he'll probably be taken. He'll probably be taken over Chris Como's spot on CNN.
Yeah.
Actually, the most manly man at CNN now is
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon.
No, the other one, Vanderbilt.
Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper.
Cooper. Yeah.
Think about that. He's the most manly man there now.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyway, I just wanted to say hi to Robert Glazier and Chris Wedgworth.
Yeah, hey, Robert and Mike B.
And Mike B came in. Yeah.
Chris and there was a gal that was.
That was the Doc Murdoch was in here. That was
Doc Murdoch. Hey, Chris.
I think was the troll because they both put, there was Pauline Stevenson. They put Bass K Tech and then B Art Tech. So I don't know what that is. So maybe they were talking about a football game. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
That was like the trolls. I've been seeing them around on other channels as well. And they would have something .fyi.
Yeah. Ken Harris show.
Because I would see that on my channel.
Yeah, and they were on Thursday night on Ken Harris show too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I booted several of them out, and finally blocked
them. Yeah. All right, guys, we did an hour and 10 minutes, and so thank you guys for coming. Mike, any last words?
Well, just everybody, of our large audience out there, please enjoy the afternoon. And I'm feeling the Christmas spirit more than I was last year because last year was a sad time. In terms of COVID, even as nutty as it still is, we're better off. And in terms of just feeling it and family get-togethers and feeling okay about it. I'm hoping for a good 2022 though. Let's get this country back in order and let's get rid of this. Let's learn to live with this disease. It's going to be around.
Yeah.
And Lloyd?
Well, I'm feeling the Christmas spirit too. I mean, I think everybody was downtrodden last year after the election. And this year we can all sit here with a smile on our face and say, see, I told you so. He's an idiot. That makes me happy.
Just like Rush Limbaugh's book.
Yep. See, I told you so. Exactly.
I've got that book as well.
Yeah.
All right, everybody in the chat, thanks for coming. Have a great Sunday, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.